really check your history and yourself.
Stop playing politics with my punani. Stop playing politics with my punani. Hey, 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 Republicans. I see you called on your fellow man. All dicks and no nuts. Then you rush to call me a slut. I'm standing up for what is mine. Call me the rib, but I'm really the spine of this whole great nation. Ain't gonna put me back on the plantation. No, stop playing politics with my punani.
Greetings, family. Welcome to a very special afternoon edition, if you're on the East Coast, edition of Punanny Politixxx. If you're on the West Coast, good morning. And if you are overseas, good evening. Yeah, we are doing this very special afternoon edition because I'm excited to have my girl, Sandra St. on the show. And she is in the Netherlands. So we were like, hey, you know what? Let's just do it on a Friday afternoon. So if you happen to be at work or you happen to be, taking a little lunch break, welcome to your lunch break and all that good stuff. So I am, of course, excited to be here. I cannot believe that it is episode 7. What? I can't believe 7. It's been 7 shows. And it's been really amazing the whole way through. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to do what I always do, which is, start off the show with a little bit of info. Oh, let me just start by saying, sorry, it is Friday afternoon and we're in Brooklyn, right? Or I am in Brooklyn, I should say. And sometimes my hood gets loud on the afternoons on a Friday. So I just want to give a little disclaimer. If the sirens start going by or any of that kind of stuff, I might just, pause while the sirens go by and let that happen and keep on going, because that's just the life we're living right now. Until I get my deal in the soundproof studio, until then we are, in the hood in my second bedroom. All right. So anyway, as I was saying, I just want to get into it. Just give a little bit of, the news of the week. Man, let me tell you, I feel like every time I sign off from this show, something wild happens. Like every time I'm like, and good night. And then I go look on my computer and I'm like, and what? So last week's and what was that, 45 got COVID and wound up in the hospital. And then a week later he's out. Actually, less than a week later, right? I'm not even going to talk about all that. That's just madness. But that is what happened when I signed off last week. Of course, I have my trusty notes. But that is what happened when I signed off last week. So, yeah, that's just been a whole lot of mess. But like I said, y'all know that. Y'all know where to find all that information. I'm not here for that. But I just wanted to mention it because, again, every time I'm like, thank you, then I'm like, what? So here we go. And also, not going to do a whole lot of talking about, the fly at the VP debate, because that fly has already got book deals at this point, right? Because so many people are talking about that fly. But I will say this because I don't know if I have heard this. So when the fly landed, it was precisely at the moment that the VP was talking about how institutional racism was not a real thing. And I felt like, then this thing lands. And then it was like, was that somebody's ancestor? Trying to say something, you know what I mean? But it was an interesting moment. So anyway, kudos to the fly. And then finally on that note, so we also know, and I think this was yesterday, that there was, this attempt on the Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, to kidnap her. Listen, again, not going to say a whole bunch about this, but can we please just call these folks what they are, which is terrorists? Can we stop? People militia and all. I'm like, no. These folks are terrorists, because if they were another color, if this was another situation, it would be straight up terrorists. People would be surrounding buildings and doing all kind of things. How many times have Black Lives Matter been called terrorists? And they haven't hurt nobody, nothing except maybe people's feelings. That's about it, right? So I'm just saying, let's get real about what folks are and and call it what it is. Okay. So that's that. So I'm always about here, like, what can we do? Like, because everybody's got something to say, everybody's got a complaint, everybody's got a whatever. So I am here for the, what can we do in this moment? So I am really looking at these Senate races, because not even a lot of times, I'm looking at it because honestly, it's Congress, okay, that's got the power, and we need to really understand that. So 2 races that I have been focused on over these last several weeks: the one in South Carolina with Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham, the one in Kentucky with Amy McGrath and Mitch, Mitch. Anyway, so I just want to show a little photo of Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham at the last debate, because I'm really feeling Jamie Harrison. I'm just going to talk about this. So here we go, right? Here's Jamie, over here, and then Lindsey on the other side. Why I love Jamie is because he erected his own plexiglass barrier, because he was like, I'm not playing with y'all Republicans in this no mask wearing madness. I got to keep my family safe. I got to keep everybody safe in my community. So I love Jamie for that. But also, Jamie's not playing any games out here. Like, he's really, this South Carolina race is really a race. So, if you want to support Jamie Harrison, there's a lot of ways you can support him, even if you're not living in the state of South Carolina. So again, just go to jamieharrison.com. You can find out more information. You can donate to his campaign. You can virtually canvass for him, phone banking, all that good stuff. Look, this is not a game. There's all kind of ways you can help, even if you don't live in that particular state. And then I just want to show you a pic, and I'm going to leave that banner up, of Amy McGrath. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Amy McGrath, she is the person who is running against Mitch in Kentucky. Again, you can support Amy McGrath. You can go to amymcgrath.com. You can donate to her campaign. You can, again, like I said, virtually canvass. You can phone bank. Like, this is not a game. You talk about power. You really want to switch some things. Let's get Mitch McConnell out of office. Okay, like, not a game. Like, really not a game. So you can, go check out Amy McGrath. She is I believe she's a former Marine. And she's really about it. Like, she has been, because she's a pilot as well. So she has been flying around Kentucky to go meet constituents in places where people will not go and talk to people. Okay. She's about it. So, don't think that there's nothing you can do. amymcgrath.com, jamieharrison.com, get into it, support them. And just get into it and support them, because again, this election cycle right now is way more than just the presidential election. And always, I have voter information. So right now, because we are running up into this election, so I thought I would share voter registration deadlines. So for instance, today in New York, it is the last day to register to vote. So you can register to vote. Again, I think it's the last day here. It's the last day in North Carolina, and it's the last day in Oklahoma. So I'm just going to put this up real quick. So check it out. See if you can find your state real quick. Some states, obviously, the deadline has already passed, but these are the deadlines for you to register, or for you to register folks to vote in your state. So again, I found this great site, and it's because I found these particular illustrations, votesaveamerica.com. That site really gives a breakdown of like all the things you need to know about voting in your state. I mean, there's so many great sites right now, but this was just a new one that I found. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, just take a quick look, find your state. If you haven't registered yet, or folks that want to register, get them registered. Again, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma. Today is your last day. Get it in, boo. Okay. So also vote by mail deadline. So again, just take a quick look, find your state, know what that is. Because I know a lot of folks are interested in voting by mail and not standing out on lines because of COVID right now. And so a lot of states are letting people vote by mail that would not necessarily let people vote by mail if they were not actually, absentee from the state. So check that out. And one more, Early voting. So a lot of states have early voting. If you don't see your state here, it's probably because you don't have early voting. But early voting, these are the dates when early voting happens in your state. So again, check it out, take a look, get into it. Early voting, then you don't even have to think about it on the 3rd. You know what I'm saying? So if you can vote early, vote early. And remember, you can only vote once. So if you vote early, then you don't have to worry about going out there on November 3rd. So check that out. I also posted all of those cards that I just showed you with the registration and the early voting and all that kind of stuff. I posted it on my Instagram page. So that is at Punanny Politixxx on Instagram. So if you was a little too fast, you didn't find your state or whatever, just go to my IG page. You can check it out there. I think I posted it on my Twitter too, as well as, and that's also at Punanny Politixxx. So again, no reasons, no excuses. There's nothing to stop you. You know what I mean? If you have questions, if you're not sure about how to vote, what it means to vote. And I know that might sound strange, but sometimes it can be overwhelming because you're not sure, like, what are the issues? What is on the ballot? There are so many great websites out here right now that are really breaking it down state by state. What is on the ballot? Who is on the ballot? So take the time, sit down with your family, and really get into what is happening out here in the world. Because now's the time, and really that's our power. I know sometimes people say, oh, my vote doesn't count, but that's what they want you to think, right? That's what they want you to think, because they understand that there is much, much, much power in voting. So get into that. All right. And flipping the script a little bit, because I always try and give like some, I guess, I don't know if it's fun news, but it's, I was going to say it's a little outside of politics, but actually tonight it's not, but it was, but it is, but anyway. So last Saturday, Megan Thee Stallion was on SNL. There's my girl, Megan Thee Stallion. And if you missed her on SNL, you can go back and check it out. And as you can see, she is, letting us know what needs to be done. And I just want to say, although I know that part of her this statement was about Breonna Taylor, because here we have, talking about Daniel Cameron, and she played Tamika Mallory's, a part of Tamika Mallory's speech, which I played last week, talking about Daniel Cameron and how, basically he had no regard for Breonna Taylor. And, that is still a mess down there. But let us not forget, I'm gonna go back to this other one. Let us not forget that, Megan Thee Stallion was just shot by a man who was supposed to be her boyfriend and supposed to be, somebody who was in her corner. So as I know that this is about, about Breonna, it's also about her. And she, I know a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about that, but you know what? You ain't, she gets out the car to try and de-escalate a situation and then dude shoots her. No, that don't work. So protect Black women. Protect Black women. Like, I can't even, there's so many levels of this. There's so many places to go with this, but I just want to give a shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. I know I call her The Stallion, but I just like that. I know she's Megan Thee Stallion, but I call her The Stallion. And, bless up to her, because it was a complicated situation. And I'm not going to get into all that. You can Google all that. You know what I'm saying? But bless up to her. Check her out on SNL. It was actually a really great SNL episode hosted by Chris Rock. And finally, some other things that I learned this week. A contract with Black America. Okay, so I know y'all like, what? What's this contract with Black America? Okay, so I happen to be on the Facebook, and I got a little ding about Red Table Talk. And on Red Table Talk this week was Ice Cube, Van Jones, and Brandon Marshall. And they were talking about a contract with Black America. And I was like, well, what is this? So apparently Ice Cube and a bunch of other folks, I'm sorry, I don't know all the names of the people, but it's on the contract, got together and really wrote out what Black folks need in this country in order to get on level footing, even playing grounds. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty amazing and quite comprehensive. Like, it's not no BS. So I'm really suggesting, first of all, these are the topics or what is on this contract with Black America, right? So it's not a joke. Like, I went to the page. I was like, oh, let me look. I was like, oh, okay. So I know that I need to take time to read it, because I'm not even going to sit up here and act like I've read it all, because I just learned about it yesterday, and it's not like a short document. Like, it's a real long document. So again, contractwithblackamerica.us is where you find this contract. I know that one of the many things that it talks about is the fact that, going forward, that, politicians should just not believe that because they are Democrat or whatever, that they just have the Black vote, that Black people are just going to go with them because of that they're Democrats or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, or independents or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it really is about when people say, well, what do Black people want? Well, there it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, it's real. So, so I commend Ice Cube, as far as I'm concerned, he's always been about it, and all the folks that sat down to really pull this document together and get this moving, because now's the time. As he said, we've been fighting a long time for our dignity, but now it's like we need to put some dollars with that dignity. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. And I just really want to really implore you all to take the time and check out that contract. Also, check out the Red Table Talk that happened with Van Jones and Ice Cube and Brandon Marshall. And Brandon Marshall, just so you know, I believe he's an NFL player, but he had started really a conversation about, how, I guess, scary it can be to vote, and not really understanding, like, people just say vote, vote, vote. But what does that mean? And what does that mean when you go into the voting booth and look at the ballot and understanding it? Like, I remember the first times I voted, and it was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff on here. It's not just the president. It's not just, the mayor or whatever. So, really starting to have a conversation about being civic minded and understanding that just what it is when you walk in to vote, and it's not just one thing, that it's many things, and that it really does represent the power that we have inside the community. So big up to all those brothers for doing that. And that's my voting spiel for today. I know I'm on this vote, right? But right now, I just feel like we need to vote for our lives. Like, that's really what this election is about right now. And it's just one step. It's just the first step to the next step. So just, everybody that just thinks, oh, it's just one thing. Nope. It's just one. And after one is two. All right. Yeah. So we are here on Friday. It is the last quarter moon in Cancer. We are still in Libra season. Big up to all the Libras out there. And we're going to do our moon forecast, of course, by our girl Moist Paula at Zodiac Soundtracks. And here we go. Emotions will be on the table as the moon in her last quarter phase spends the night at home in the sign of Cancer. Cook up a storm and nourish yourself and anyone hunkering down with you. If you're alone, you'll likely be on the phone. Communications flow easily, even though the themes will likely be more deep and meaningful than light and breezy. Carrying on from last week's full moon, there will be more unexpected news to discuss, about which most everyone will feel strongly and few will take a position of objectivity. After 5 months in retrograde motion, Pluto, the planetary counterpart of the Hindu goddess Kali, has begun to move forward, albeit ever so gradually. The planet, which rules death and rebirth, power, manipulation, excavation, and transformation, is at the closest point to Earth of its orbit, and the Plutonian energies are inescapable and inflamed by a tense aspect to retrograde Mars in Aries. While Pluto rules Scorpio, Mars is its traditional ruler, and together with Mercury in Scorpio, these planets may give us some early Halloween vibes. Even as the autumnal Libra sun refuses to leave us out in the cold. There is a need under this sky for the truth to come out on many levels. We may need to face truths about ourselves or about others. If there is an area of life in which we choose denial at this time, the repressed truth will find its expression in ways that could be harmful. This is definitely a time to consciously choose to vibrate higher. Uranus is the planet to watch this month, forming aspects with the Moon, Mercury, and Venus, as well as the planets in Capricorn, and bringing the element of surprise to all it touches. This could be in the form of a flash of inspiration or an utterly unexpected development. New technologies may become available to us, even as we just adapted to the previous latest gadgets. There will be outcomes beyond our wildest dreams. And the silver lining here is that one department of life which will be affected by Uranus transit as the last quarter moon begins to wane is everybody's favorite: love and beauty. So be on the lookout for a love surprise. But of course, don't forget all month long to watch your back. And as always, on this last quarter moon, reflect upon your progress towards any goals you set on the most recent new moon 3 weeks ago. Take stock, clean house, and don't be afraid to toss whatever you no longer need in order to create a vacuum into which your next unknown Uranian thing can step. This week's moon forecast was brought to you by Moist Paula at Zodiac Soundtracks. Welcome to the last quarter moon in Cancer. Hey, I wanted to put this last picture up because I just realized it's Nona's birthday today. How could I leave her out of my Libra, superstar lineup in my moon forecast? I was like, So I just decided I would put up this fab picture of the two of us. Lord, that night, that was such a crazy night. That night, I played at SOB's. Nona was putting a show together, and it was snowing so bad. It was snowing so bad. And we were all out there like, why are we out here? Like, why are we out here doing this show? But that is our Mama Funk, Nona Hendricks. We love Nona. We love Nona. Nona, happy birthday. So much love to you. You are like our forever inspiration for all the things that we do. Yes, honey, like much love to you and happy birthday. Yay, Nona. All right. And speaking of inspirations, coming to the stage is my girl and yours, is Sandra St.
Nona.
I know, right? She's like everything.
She's everything. Happy birthday, Nona.
Mm-hmm. I was like, how did I not know it was her birthday today?
Yeah, right. I know. And I get the notice every year. She has a show tonight.
Yes.
New Jersey Pack with George Clinton.
Is it like an actual show? Are they
No. They're talking, which I really want to see. Imagine the two of them talking politics and funk.
Yes.
I'm like, where is the link?
I saw that and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we kind of need to hear that.
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited to have you here with us today, all the way from the Netherlands.
Thank you.
And I was excited because I was like, it's like I could record it and do it later. I was like, but you know what? Some of my friends from overseas have been like, I can't catch you because you're on too late. Right. I was like, all right, we gonna hit it.
Here we go. We need something on this side of the pond too.
Exactly. And I got so many folks, in the UK. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So as I was saying to you off the screen, your bio is so long and amazing, but I always read at least a little bit of people's bios before we get into it. And really that's just because I want folks to know who might not be all the way familiar with you, like how fab you are. So as I was saying too, off the screen, I'm wearing my Prince earring in honor of our our girl Sandra because of the work that she has done with our Purple Godfather. But before we get into that, and again, I'm going to try and this is a whole page. So,
I'm sorry.
No, girl, don't be sorry. I'm going to give people ways that they can get all the info because, let me just say. So, Sandra St. Victor. She moved to New York City in the early 80s to work with Roy Ayers and joining his touring band, Ubiquity. Oh, and, if anything I say here is wrong, because I got this off Wikipedia, they ain't always.
Oh, know it. Okay.
So please correct me.
We'll do. Okay.
And then shortly after working with Roy Ayers, she was snatched up by Shaka Khan to then tour with Shaka Khan throughout the 80s. And she also toured with Freddie Jackson, Glenn Jones, and also has been one of the premier voices, I have to say, in the New York session circuit, working with Lisa Fisher, Cindy Mizell, R.G. Wheeler, Brenda White King, Tawatha Agee, Curtis King. And then, as most of us know, in 1986, she was introduced to Peter Lord and my man, B. Jeffrey Smith, through Lisa Fisher, just to do demo work with them because they were producers at the time, R&B producers. But then that meeting was so synchronous, it's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
They decided to start the Family Stand. So from that unit, in the early days, they produced 2 albums, Chain and in 1989 and Moon and Scorpio. And this is what I'm going to say. So there's a whole 4 hours, I think, interview that y'all did with Questlove.
Yeah, it was actually longer than that. They just edited it down.
Edited it down, right?
Yeah,
so what I'm going to say to y'all is go to Questlove Supreme if you want all
backstory.
Whole backstory, right? Because
that's
they give it all, and it's an amazing interview. So really, check out Questlove Supreme, and you can get all the goodies there. So I'm just gonna say that. So she began her solo career in 1993 with the album Sanctuary, which I know was not released, but there were songs from that album that were then later produced by Prince. So I know Soul Sanctuary was one of them. I'll Never Open My Legs Again, which Shaka Khan sang. And I'll Never Fool Around. Oh, wait, I'll Never Be Another Fool. Yes.
That's actually the one that he changed the title. It was
he
Never My Legs. He changed
it. Oh, yes, Mr. Prince. We gonna talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in 1996, Mack Diva Saves the World, which we all love. Yes. And then independently released Gemini Both Sides, which you also love. And then later she returned to the studio with Peter and Jeff to do Super Soul Nova and In 1,000 Years. And we're going to talk about what is forthcoming, the forthcoming album Evolve. And I know that was choppy and terrible, but let me tell you something. There's so much information and so mumuch goodness in this career of Sandra St. Victor. So welcome one more time to the stage, Sandra St. Victor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I didn't even mention, Daughters of Soul, you know what I'm saying? Which is an amazing project.
Another chapter, yeah. It's a whole nother chapter.
A whole other chapter.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to start with you because I was like, where do I begin? You know what? I think I'm going to start sort of current in a way.
Okay.
So you live in the Netherlands. When did you decide to move overseas? And what was that decision like for you?
You know what? It was right after 9/11. Not right after, a year or so after that, but I've got asthma and I was in the city a lot. Actually, I was supposed to be downtown because I had an appointment. I had a show coming up at Joe's Pub. Long story short, it was too much. It was too much for me. Not that, like other Americans, we all deal with this kind of thing and you move on. But I thought at that moment, it was just a perfect window for me to sort of gallivant around Europe for a year. My daughter was in college. She was living on campus. I'm living in a big house with a Rottweiler. And it was just let me go and just hang out for a minute. And my first, I was gonna rough it up. I was gonna sleep on couches, all like friends' places all over Europe and the UK. And anyway, the first stop was the Netherlands, because it's like my favorite. Amsterdam was my favorite city in Europe. Hey, I stayed here.
Right.
I'm basically. I always say I'm like a failed nomad. Really, it was meant to be nomadic, and it just turned out to be,
Right.
2 kids later.
Right.
Maybe like word.
Right.
So I've been here since that's February 2002, February 21st, 2002.
Wow.
I've had several moments of, okay, it's time to come back. It's time to come back. I was thinking about bringing the kids. I was thinking about, moving the whole situation over here. But at this moment, no, not right now. Not right now. For all the reasons I'm sure we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask because, when I think about folks moving abroad, I often think about Baldwin and how, when he left and, really was escaping, some of the things that we're in the midst of right now in terms of like really blatant in your face, racism and ways of being. But then there was also that moment with him where he realized like, it's time to go home. Right. And so I just wonder, and I know that, we have spoken, because, we're going to talk about this, pre-COVID, which was like 5 minutes ago. Right. There was plans, there were plans to tour with the band and all these things. But what has that been like, I think, as an American, especially a Black American living abroad, and then seeing the things that are happening here? And how is that feeling? Like, do you have that pull? I mean, I know that it's a rough time now, but what do you, what is the heart like when you see what's happening here and then you're somewhere else?
It's difficult. It's really difficult. I'm so, I am pulled because a part of me feels like I would be out. I'd be out in the streets too. That is my spirit. I have a revolutionary soul, man. I know, and I want to be out there. I want to have boots on the ground. I want to have hands in the mud. I want to do all the things like vote banking, the phone bank, all kinds of things need to be done, especially right now around this election. So I try to do what I can do on this end, with internet and that sort of thing. But here's the reality is that no matter where, I should speak for myself, but I'm going to speak for any Black American expat who is the least bit aware of who they are, really. There's no way that you cannot be uncomfortable is the nicest way I can say that, with what's going on, and not feel a sort of a tug to want to run back and scream alongside people. It's really kind of because that's why I am. I mean, we are all African Americans, but my the original soil is of course the continent. But America is where I was born and bred, right. Where my fathers died, So I mean, all them songs, they weren't talking about us, but those are the facts that we have invested. We are invested generationally and blood in that country. So to see it being basically falling off a cliff. Not that it was ever, the icon of democracy, but at least, there was an arc that was at least hopefully falling in the right direction. Now it's sort of being bent dramatically in the wrong direction. So no, I'm not feeling not being there right now.
Right. I hear you. Yeah, it's interesting because even being here And then when COVID started and, everything sort of fell apart, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and, with gigs, just disappearing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had this moment where I was like, all right, well, I have all this free time, so I should go see my family. Right.
Yeah.
And it was a really tough decision, which was interesting, just to leave New York, because
Right.
New York, like, everything was happening, everything was buzzing, all the protests were happening, everything was going down in New York. And so, and again, like you talk about that revolutionary spirit, and it's like, yeah, even though I wasn't like right out there in the street, it was still the fact that the street was right there.
Right there. No doubt. Right. Right. What I mean? Y'all are sharing air. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're contributing by your energy and presence.
Absolutely. And so, and I had a really interesting moment on Twitter one night where, like, there was, when the curfew was happening and folks were still out in the streets, and I was on Twitter and saw somebody like talking about how the police were closing in on them. And I was like, no. And then I realized it's like down the street from my house.
See?
So I was like, okay, let me get on this Twitter and see if there's anybody like close, thinking about what had happened in DC and how that brother let all the
let him come in. Yeah.
And similarly, I jump on, and then people start tweeting me back and like, well, I live at this place and this place. If they're near me, they can come. If they live, I was like, whoa.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, that.
So I totally understand.
Yeah.
And so just to segue a little bit about that revolutionary spirit. So the work, the music that you have been doing in the early days with Family Stand, a lot of that energy was there in terms of like the writing and the things that you all were talking about. So, talk about that. And when you guys came together and just kind of knowing or thinking about that's what you wanted to talk about in that time. Because, that's the 80s. So what was happening then,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I remember Desert Storm was going on. I remember South Africa was getting, getting rid of Botha, we talked about a lot of things. We were talking about the first Bush in one of our songs. We said Woodrow Wilson's been resurrected. You know what I mean? We really, because as I said before, there's never been a time in our history so far where the scales have been balanced, things have been equally, there's never been equanimity for African Americans. And the system is, of course, skewed to remain that way. That is not a bug, that's a feature. Okay, so before us, you had George Clinton, Nona Hendrix, we've written about it and sang and performed careers made on that. Sly Stone talked about it, Jimi Hendrix talked about it, Bob Dylan talked about it. I mean, so the system has always been mightily askew. Okay. And so, there's always fodder for an artist to speak up. And I am one of those people that feel like if you have a platform, you should use it to help move I don't want to say move the culture forward, because that sounds like a thing to say, but it should, we should help. We should be a part of solutions because people listen to us. Okay, so and I mean that I'm not saying everybody should be on some Black Power whatever, but Megan Thee Stallion, I call her that too because she got 2 E's in her middle name. So Megan Thee Stallion, okay, be clear, it's Thee Stallion, not A Stallion. The fact that she's using that platform. And like you said, say what you want about her past, and I could, because I have daughters, I have thoughts about that. I'm not even upfront, but I really appreciate that the young women that are watching her are seeing her activated and involved, and and caring, about something important. That needs to happen, and they need to be a part of. They need to be aware of, and it's not just about being slaying and fashion. It's not just about that. So if it takes Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B or whoever To have young folk or people that are paying attention to that segment of the community, God bless. God bless.
I always feel like you have to meet people where they're at.
For
and
sure.
So, and sometimes, everybody's not gonna, I'm trying to think of somebody else, another artist, but another artist that might be talking, about, quote unquote political things or things that are happening right now. Right, Some of these young folks might not gravitate toward them.
For sure.
Then the message is never going to be heard. So then you have, so you have to meet people where they are.
Yeah. There's ways to also, it don't have to be preachy teachy, You know what I mean? Because it's not like her music is about that her visuals were strong on SNL. Reflecting that. But there are ways to, listen, the reality is if you got a sick beat, you know what I mean? they be singing along, not even realizing it's getting in there though.
Right.
You gotta just know it's getting it because they sing. Okay, one day they're gonna say, "Wait a minute, what did I just say?"
Right.
and then that's all it takes, or for them to be playing it, and their kids hear it, or their friends hear it. Whatever, it's out there. You're putting it out in the universe to be captured.
I feel like this is like such a I'm trying to think of the right word. I keep calling it a strange, beautiful time. I don't know that if, the arrival, for lack of a better term, of COVID and the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, if they had not happened simultaneously, I don't know if we would be here at this moment.
No, we wouldn't because we'd be busy.
Yes.
We'd be busy. Everything happens for a reason, and we do have to accept everything happens for a reason. It doesn't mean that it doesn't diminish at all the moment or the things that go on in moments, and it certainly doesn't mean we have to feel things less because they're just going to happen. I'm not a fatalist that way,
right.
But recognize that this is happening. Why is this happening? Okay, well, and be conscious of that. And what your movements should be in that moment that this is happening, So I think a lot of folks have, a lot of us have opened up or found or discovered pathways that before were not unavailable to us. They went unseen because we're busy,
right?
And honestly, all of our asses needed to slow down. We needed to. Okay. We were all tripping. Okay, I'm sorry. Just all tripping.
No, that's
one thing I will tell you. Being over here, I think my vantage point gives me a perspective that makes things clearer than when you're in the mix and in the middle of all the business that happens in America.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, when everything started to shut down, so folks don't know, but when right before COVID, Sandra was here in New York. There was a plan in place for the Family Stand to come back and do some new some shows after quite some time. There was a show that happened in 2019 at the Met. That was sort of like the reintroduction of the Family Stand back into people's consciousness, so to speak. And it was like the launch pad. So there were shows that were in place, and I was, blessed and asked to be part of those shows and to do support vocals on those shows. And I was very excited about that. And it was a strange top of the year. Just to be quite honest, before COVID even came, sadly we lost our awesome guitar player and friend Ronnie Drayton at the top of the year, which was devastating on so many levels. And we, when I know that when all of this COVID is cleared up, we're really going to do it up in person, big for Ronnie.
You know it. We are.
But it was just such a, so it even made it more like, you know what, we're going to get out here and we're going to do these shows for Ronnie and we're going to make it great. All these things, and then, COVID happened. So it was an interesting moment because when things, it was like a slow, burn.
It
was
was.
a slow burn because nobody really knew what was really happening. So there was a lot of optimism, even, that like, we're going to be done with this by May. We're going to be done with this. We can keep going, the whole thing. And then it was just like one thing after the next thing after the next thing. And I know for me personally, it put me into a state of surrender because there was nothing.
There's nothing
you could do. So I just like for you to talk about, I guess that lead up because I know that it was like, there was so much excitement around the return of the band in that particular way.
Yeah, that was a blow because I mean, we didn't even find out for sure that the shows, I mean, like we had a show planned for First Avenue in Minneapolis. I think that was the first one. Was that the first one that was canceled? Oh, no,
I feel like City Winery got canceled. Not City Winery
got canceled. Right. Yes. Right. And it's okay. Well, fine. Because the first show was in New York.
Yes.
And then, and we were still thinking it was going to be, because it'll be the middle of April, that Minneapolis show. We'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then, so New York was still saying, no, we're still a go. We're still a go. I was like, all right. So, all right, well, rehearsal, blah, blah, blah. We were still preparing. Everybody learned all them damn songs. Sorry. The day before rehearsal was to start is when we finally got the call that the New York show wasn't happening as well. I was like, uh-oh, snap. So I'm sitting here in New York for 3 months.
Right.
In an Airbnb, it was like, for shits and giggles. No, it was deep because, first of all, you always kind of, women in particular, we have a thing that we internalize. We look at why is this happening to me? Right? What did I do to make this, karmically or something? You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Because after all of these years and all the things that we've gone through as a group and business-wise, we've always been cool, but just the business has been it's harsh. It's a harsh business, but and for things to all come together the way they did, and you know what I mean. And we had the support. Daryl McNeil was from BRC. And he and Salve, they were really like the backbone, the motor behind pushing this whole thing through. And so when all that one domino that fell and everything else flew, it's like, okay, what did I do in my last life? I need to get some phones. I need to cleanse. I gotta, let me get somebody to exercise the people. What did I do? Getting past that, it's like, okay, stop. Because like I said earlier, everything happens for a reason, right? So getting past that and then trying to see the not even know the reason. You don't have to know the reason, but you have to accept it is what it is. And then that acceptance, like you said, is like that surrender, makes you feel like, okay, it empowers you to then see the open doors that you didn't see before. So through the despair, I got to tell you, which was the first, thing, the first like reckoning with the wreckage, so to speak, it sort of led to for that okay, despair, and then, oh my God, what have I done? And then okay, Sandra, stop. And to, okay, all right, you know what? We all needed to slow our monkey asses down anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but not even interesting. In the midst of all that, though, you all were recording an album.
Right.
So you have a whole album.
Just sit on it. Just got a whole album just in the corner. We did finish the album, so that's good, because of course that album is is apropos, because like I said, shit don't change. So like the songs we wrote in 1991, still work today, and the songs we wrote 5 months ago definitely work today.
And I should say that, because I didn't mention before, so when the shows that were leading up to, that didn't happen were about celebrating the 30-year anniversary of Moon and Scorpio.
Exactly. Yes. So that's everything. So so maybe we'll celebrate the 31st year. I don't know. We'll figure we'll work it out, however, or just the
Well, it's timeless.
The echo of the 30th anniversary. Well, it'll be cool. Whatever, it's gonna be cool. But yeah, it was definitely gonna be a celebration, the summer stage thing. I mean, it was sort of like a homecoming, and oh my God, I really wanted to be able to do that with Ronnie, because Ronnie was the beginning. He was there with us, from the get. But Ronnie had places to go. Okay, Ronnie, people talking about RGB sent that fly. I said Ronnie Drayton sent that fly.
Yeah, see? Listen, that's what I said. That was somebody.
Gail King got in trouble because she said, and also it was a fly of color. It was a black fly. People mad at her because talking about she's a black fly. Yeah, stop there. Come on now.
Right? Oh my God. Like I said, that fly has a book deal. That fly has a record deal.
Right? That fly is straight. Do you hear me? Okay. The next day, I saw at the Instagram, the fly had posted, "Did y'all see me on TV last night?" I was like,
you know what? I'm mad. I saw somebody post that the Fly's family was like, "Yo, did y'all see Fly Quan on TV last night?"
Fly Quan? No.
See, that's why I love us.
Yeah. We will make some lemonade. We will take this shit and flip it.
Woo. So let me ask also about these COVID times, because I know for myself, I have not been feeling super musical in this time. So how has creativity been for you in this time? Have you been like, oh yeah, I got the COVID masterpiece rocking? Or has it sort of been like fits and starts? Or have you just decided to just, and I'm just going to sit down? Like what was your thoughts?
Yes.
Say that again.
Yeah, I was like, yes, yeah, fits and starts. Like I don't feel nothing, and oh my God, I have so much to say, and and how I'm gonna say it, and how I'm gonna get it out there in a timely fashion, or So yeah, there are a couple of things that are coming that I've recorded, and got to say some stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. But it's hard to, I don't know. I feel like it's an excuse, but the water hose of news that I being over here also, I did take like a social media hiatus for a while. I turned everything down. I shut it all off. Yeah. Actually accidentally deleted the Family Stand Instagram account. That was not, didn't mean to do that. But anyway, I needed that moment to just sort of find that back, because I knew I needed to be creative, and I was just so inundated. But being over here, that part right there, not having that immediate connection to what's happening down the street, or even just sometimes, when I'm there, just going for a walk and, feeling the ground, not paying attention makes me feel even more further away. It just makes me feel further, So I do. So I'm back into it. But it does take a lot out of you to stay connected and to know what's going to be up on top of things. I do not like not knowing what's going on, you know. And I do like to I read between the lines. I will, you know, I don't particularly go down every rabbit hole, but if something don't seem right, I will try to find my own answers, you know.
Yeah.
And so that is time consuming and draining for any artist when you're trying to, you know, think of words out of your own head, and you got, you know, this water hose of shit, you know, all day, every day.
Right.
So that's difficult. But I have managed to do some interesting, cool shit.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I know, so you had mentioned, or you mentioned to me that you were working on a project called Beautifully Dark, and that's a solo project. Is that part of, was that happening before? Or
That was happening before. That was happening before. So that's in the, like, you know, business phase now.
Okay.
That's with Mark Batson producing. He did the whole album. So it's in the next phase of development. But the other things I'm doing, like, of course, we finished the Family Stand album. I'm working on videos and stuff for that. And features of people that I think it's going to be interesting to see for our folks, you know, coming up. You know, yes, I've got some nice, fun things coming around the corner.
Absolutely. I mean, I have heard the whole Family Stand album, and it's the bomb.
Hey,
I am excited about that, and I'm excited, of course, to hear what your project is going to be, your solo project. So
it's so different. It's so different than Family Stand because it's like, it's not the polar opposite or antithesis, but it is like a whole nother shade. Okay, it's a whole nother shade because, you know, we Family Stand is edgy in one way. Me as a solo artist, I'm edgy another way, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, when it's me as a solo artist, you know, I'm putting my womanness front and center.
Right.
So, you know, so that Beautifully Dark thing is about the depth of and meaning of darkness. Okay. You know, and how that manifests.
Right.
in Mark Batson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking forward. So I know that one of the songs that you've been promoting or pushing right now has been Song for Michelle. And that's coming forth on the Family Stand project. And I'm just so you know, I'm going to play the video at the end of the show so folks can hear it and see it. But you were asking people to, I guess, submit videos of them, I believe, singing the chorus. You know, so tell me about that. Was that about like helping to put a video together? So talk about that.
Right. So the video that I did that you're going to play is like a lyric video. I really wanted to do something contemporary. So I basically used nothing but GIFs in that video. It's all GIFs, right? So for the actual video, I want to mix in folks and do it sort of like a where toward the end of the video, when it's a crowd singing the chorus, where it's like a Zoom screen. All right. You know? So before you get there, I want to have shots of people, you know, with their attitudes and, you know, I don't care what it is. Because I just, like I said, my video talk about that.
Yeah, tell us about the song, because it's called Song for Michelle. Why?
Right. Well, okay.
I don't know why,
but so you know, Queen Michelle says, when they go low, we go high. Well, we're saying if we go high and they go low, we're gonna fuck these motherfuckers up. Right. Because it's time for that right now. Okay, no, sweetie. Okay, no. So, my girl Indira Khan, she posted, she retweeted. This is my little niecey poo. She said, I wish a motherfucker would.
Exactly.
So that's the vibe. Yo, don't come for us right now, okay? So because it's just we're done. We're done. Okay, it's enough now. So the song is that. It is that attitude, but it is still a positive environment. We're positive in that we're going to do this. Okay.
Right.
And the outcome is going to be what it should be, which is us coming together and moving past this, y'all wanting us to be in 1945 thing.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And just pressing the gas on forward motion right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the song is about. And I'm asking people to send videos of them singing the chorus, or like I said, whatever you want to send a video of, because I could just, interject it in places doing whatever you're doing, even if it's just you, doing the Wakanda sign. I don't know.
So if folks want to send something to you, where would they send it?
I think they should, because I have a Dropbox that I have a file link that I can also give you to post up. But if you're, because that can be, I guess, intimidating, if confusing for some people, because I've gotten some inbox about, I don't know how to, so just inbox me. If you just inbox me on Facebook, or Instagram, inbox me, and then I'll give you the direct link and tell you how to get to me directly. I just don't want to put directly on the internet. So inbox me, and then but I do want as many faces, proud, strong, diverse faces, ages, race, whatever. I need everybody up in there so we can make that visual powerful.
Absolutely.
That shit. Okay.
Absolutely. So I have all of Sandra's info. If you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, it's all in the description. So you all, her IG and it's Sandra St. Victor. So easy. And you can find her on Facebook at Sandra St. Victor.
Right.
So
yes. Okay, it's no excuse. If you know the name, you can find me.
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna, like I said, at the end of the show, before we sign off, I'm gonna play the video because it's amazing. I love the song, not just because I'm singing on it, but I love the song.
That helps though. That helps. Yeah.
I'm in the chorus.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I hear you.
It's funny because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I know I'm out of time. I'm like, I always go over time in my shows. Like,
we didn't even talk about.
I know we didn't even talk about Prince. We didn't even talk about, but you know what?
The debate.
So I'm not gonna. See, here's the thing. I already knew. Like I was like, I know that this show is gonna go over, and it's just gonna be what it is. So I'm gonna ask for not to say that we can't do this again, but to wrap this right now. What would be one last thing that you would like to share that you feel like we didn't get into, or you want to just put out there into the world before we close this chapter? Because there's I don't know, there's so many things.
There's so many things. I think to go back to one of your earlier topics, the contract for Black America, I will definitely check that out. I've watched, I think Ice Cube's done 2 videos, talking to Black people and that sort of thing. I've seen those. What I will say is this: we absolutely deserve what he's asking for in that contract, from the screenshot that you put up.
Yeah.
And he is right, as is even Kanye. saying,
okay, go ahead.
He's right.
I don't pay no attention to Kanye, so I'm like, what's Kanye doing? But
so the fact that they're saying that the Democratic Party just sort of takes our votes for granted.
Yeah,
and that's a fact that politics is politics, and they need to their feet need to be held to the fire. The problem is, if we at this moment decide that we need to hold our votes ransom, this is really not that much. I know people say all the time, this is the most important election, but have y'all been here the last 3 or 4 years? This one here, let's stop the bleeding. Okay, the house is on fire. Okay, it is. But so what you don't want to do is say, Well, wait a minute. Are there enough black firemen? Because until we get black firemen, okay, so let's not do that. Okay, let's not right now do that. Let's get you with the Kublai Khan hat on. You got water. Yeah. Okay, put the fire out, and then let's hold their feet to the fire. That's what happens after these big elections, and then everybody just they can fix everything. That's just not how it ever is going to work.
No,
Barack told us back then, we've been waiting for, and we still waiting on us.
Still waiting on us.
So if we want them to do the right thing, or at least help us move that arc toward justice, then we need to stay up their ass, and we cannot then in the midterms that come up in 2022 act like we busy and it ain't a presidential because that's how we got Mitch McConnell.
Yeah,
that's how we got them Tea Party people. That's how we got all of those crazies in there because we sleep every midterm.
That was 2010.
That was 2010. I was so mad at us. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get our unicorns that we expected in the first 2 years of a black president. We mad. That's not how it works. It's consistent. It's consistent. You have to be consistent, and it's not going to happen. There's no magic bullet. Barack was never Jesus. Okay, so hello, y'all. He's a man. He's a politician. He's a man, and he had all of that obstruction, and y'all just made the obstruction worse because you gave, gave keys to Congress and the Senate away. So, okay, that was my rant on that.
Well, I just want to say, since you did bring up Kanye, I will say this. Because I think we need to be very clear, and I think people need to really get it clear, because I wasn't clear about this until recently. So I really thought that when Kanye was doing this whole run for president thing, that was just sort of like a flash in the pan and that was done. No, let's be clear, folks. Kanye is on the ballot in some states.
Yes, he is.
And that's
a problem.
A problem.
Yes. Yes.
And let me tell you something, black people, tell your cousin Pookie right now.
Don't do that.
If they think that they're going to vote for Kanye on some, as you said, holding your vote for ransom, you are a pawn, my brother, my
right.
sister.
He's on the MAGA train. He's
exactly.
So I think it was Wisconsin that the news reporters were standing outside of the election, the state house, because he needed to get all those signatures in before 5:00. Who's running into the building at 5:00 with signatures for Kanye West's independent campaign? The damn chair of the Republican Party of Wisconsin. Okay, so don't sleep on this bullshit, children.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't be a part of that. Don't be a part of that. It ain't cute to hold your little vote for ransom, because if we lost Wisconsin by like 70,000, I mean some stupid number, like one person per county, two people per county. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Yes.
And if you really want things to move, listen. It's like when you're arm wrestling. I saw somebody say this other day. If you're arm wrestling, it's easy to come back from here, but it's much harder to come back from here. Okay? So y'all gonna let us go boom on the table and then try to get them to, give not kill the Voting Rights Act, not slash or murder the Affordable Care Act, Roe versus Wade. The Citizens United, all that crap. You want to let y'all want just throw that away and start over. Yeah, okay. Right. Well, I'll see y'all in 250 years because this one will be maybe all right for my great grandchildren.
Yeah.
So my last word is, listen. I don't Joe Biden is most definitely not Huey P. Newton. Okay, neither is Bernie Sanders, folks.
Yeah, hello.
But we need to vote for Joe Biden right now. We need to vote for Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden is gonna give us mouth to mouth, and we all about to die, because that's literally what's on the ballot. Our very, very sanity and future literally is on the ballot. Trump will destroy what's left of democracy if he has another 4 years, and they'll let him, because the powers that be are all on that same page.
Yes.
We don't really need, one of the Mike Lee's Republican senator just said on Twitter, democracy is not even the point. It's never been the point. He just said that. He said the quiet part out loud. So it's about power. Democracy was just to let y'all believe y'all had a hand in it. So don't play the game. Don't play that game.
And I've been saying to people, for really just F your feelings right now.
For real,
like, everybody's in their feelings about, oh, this person doesn't have this agenda for us. Like,
darlings.
This is a fuck your feelings kind of moment
right now.
Like, get in there and do it. And as you said, hold people's feet to the fire. Because as we know, what happened with Obama is they thought Magic Negro got into office. Yes. Everybody thought Magic Negro was going to. And it's like, and I always say to people that his slogan was always, yes, we can.
Okay. We who we've been waiting for.
We who we've been waiting for. And like you said, everybody was like, oh, we did that. Let me go have a drink.
Right. Everybody relax, take their shoes off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then waiting for the gold dust to fly down from Washington, D.C. It's like, no. This is not how any of this works.
Yeah, this is not the time to be in your feelings. Like, yes, there's a lot of work to be done. And yes, you need to check out that contract with Black America and all those things. But right now, as we are moving into this early voting and moving into all of that, like, it's just time to vote. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you too, because I know that there's been all this mess about like, voting by mail, but you're a citizen, so you vote by mail, yes?
I have no choice but to vote by mail.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So, and they've made it more difficult the longer I've been here. It just, every year it gets more, like a detail, the things you have to do. It's like, I'm imagining, I'm a pretty, sharp individual, I'm still not totally demented. I mean, I know, but if you're even the least bit frazzled, trying to just fill out your ballot and get it in. I mean, not just expats, but folks in America need to fill. They make it so difficult. They make it so, this envelope, they put that, don't sign that one, sign this one, and then don't put that over there. Use blue ink. You don't use that. So 20,000 rules to make it more difficult to vote. So that's how you hack an election. You don't have to literally hack the machines, though they can. You don't have to do that. Just stop the right people from voting.
Right.
That's how they're hacking this election right now.
Yeah, it's amazing though, like the whole talk about mail-in voting. I'm like, because every service person has to mail in their vote.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
those are mostly his people. Those are mostly Republicans. Okay, these guys, Shelley, the man is ripping up mailboxes off the street.
No, I know.
This is where we are. Okay, it's like we're ripping up mailboxes. Okay.
No, but that was good because I think that's important. I think that was a really important thing to say. I'm going to keep reiterating that because I'm having, Senator Pat Spearman in Nevada had come on my show and she's coming back in a couple weeks and to talk about that whole thing about sort of like F your feelings right now, and really just. We need to vote for our lives, and it's not like a figurative.
No. People of color and women in particular, but all of us need to be up on the table. Also, you mentioned people to send money to help voting. I'd like to throw MJ Hager in Texas. Yes, because that would be a wonderful Senate seat to have.
Okay,
she's running against John Cornyn.
All right, I'm gonna add all this MJ Hager.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I'm everybody right now. I'm doing things. I don't think I've done this much work in an election in quite some time. So, but it feels good. It's kind of like in my blood, as you say. It's kind of like how I grew up. I don't know anything else. Right.
It's like I can't stand idly by and rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna be trying to like push the boat off the something up, get a torch and try to melt the iceberg. I'm doing something.
Oh my gosh! All right, Sandra. I know we gotta go. My hour, like it always goes fast, and I always go over. I don't know what.
That's a good thing though. That means you're a good conversationalist.
Yeah.
I want to hang. So that's good. I miss you, Shelley.
I miss you too. I cannot wait to get back on the stage. And I know like we're not alone, but it just feels like sometimes I look out and I'm like, I don't know when that's going to happen again, but we'll get there.
It's going to be a minute.
That's why we got votes so we can get out of this damn pandemic, yo.
Come on. See? I need some cookies, Shelley. I have to. It's your birthday.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
I was fiending cookies. I swear, like 2 days, I was like, damn, I want some cookies right now. I some bomb-ass cookies, let me tell y'all. Bomb.
Child, we making all the things work right now. All the things. But I got you. We will talk. We'll talk off the side.
Okay.
I love you, Sandra, and thank you for being here. And we're gonna do it again because I feel like
we got much more to talk about.
We got much more to talk about. It's gonna be quite the next month. All right, girl. So be safe and be well, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, bye. Yay. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the conversation with Sandra. Oh my gosh. Like I said, so much to say. It's like I knew that could go on, and I was like, yeah, well, you know what it is. So I'm going to do like I always do before I close my show, because I say, not even because I say, but because I have made a commitment to do so. In honoring a sister every week who has been killed by the police or, by misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, any of those things that we are in the midst of right now. So this week I am honoring our sister. There she is, Korryn Gaines. So I'm not sure if you remember Korryn's story, but I'm not going to read all the stuff here because it's a lot of stuff to read, but you can take your time and read it. But she's 23-year-old woman living outside of Baltimore, Maryland, in Randallstown, Maryland. She was murdered by police on August 1st of 2016. She was killed with her son in her arms, which is already ridiculous enough. He was also shot, but he was not killed. Give thanks. So what, in short, was happening with Korryn was that the police say that they came to her house to serve a bench warrant for her and her fiance, which then led to what turned into a 6-hour standoff with police. And in the end, they ended up shooting and killing her. This is all about a bench warrant. They talked about that basically she had been stopped for a traffic violation, and later she was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and littering. And that ended up with her dead. So there are many, many conflicting reports about this because she actually, I believe, live streamed the situation when it was going down. There are reports that originally the police never identified themselves. Not a new story for us. There was talk that there was some mental illness involved, and I know that we've had many, many conversations about law enforcement and mental illness and needing better, training, around that. And we also know that those stories are not new. But again, this young woman should not have ended up killed because of a bench warrant for a traffic violation, resisting arrest, and littering. I mean, you shouldn't end up dead in any case, but none of those things equal death. So, as I said here, per usual, the officer that whose bullets killed her was not charged. The family was awarded a $38 million settlement, which was then rescinded the lower courts in Maryland and Baltimore said that no, they should not have won that. And then they appealed, took it to the higher courts, who then were like, yes, that family deserves that money. And that they abused, basically that the police is that they abused they shouldn't have shot her. Let's just put it that way. And that they violated the family's civil rights. So while $38 million is a lot, way more than these folks in Kentucky are trying to do for Breonna, is still not bringing our daughters back. And I just want to say, I just want to give love to the family of Korryn Gaines. I think if you look at the picture, you can see her son back there in the car seat at that time. And I know most of them, and that verdict that just came back basically for them to actually get that money just happened. So that just happened in June. So they just were awarded that money. So this is a situation that has taken 4 years to be resolved in some form or fashion. But like I said, officers still not charged. So in that contract for Black America that we were talking about, one of the things that we are trying to get rid of is this immunity. Like it's like, I'm forgetting the exact name, but basically if you're a police officer, you can just always get off. Like you always have immunity no matter what. And that doesn't make any sense. And that's not fair, right, or just. So on that note, I have to light my little incense today because my candle is getting low. We're going to light a candle for Miss Korryn. And even though her son is still with us, I'm lighting this candle for him too, because if you're in your mother's arms when she is killed, that is not something that you are easily getting over. So that young boy is 9 years old now. I believe he'd be 9. So I'm just saying, again, lighting this candle for Korryn, as we say her name, lighting this candle for her son and their whole family. And, I'm lighting this candle so that, I know that there's many more names that I can, I could do this every week for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But I am, hoping, I am praying, I am asking, the ancestors, everybody to be with us, hold us, guide us, and that we are able to move into a space where we can see the end of this kind of reckless killing of our sisters come to an end. So, big love to Korryn. I'm just gonna keep my candle right here. So, as I said, as always, I'm way over today, child, but it's all right, because I knew when I was talking to Sandra, that's just what was gonna go down. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in on this afternoon delight, or if you're overseas on this evening delight, or if you're on the West Coast, I think it might still be morning coming into the afternoon. Remember, there's always something you can do. Oh, I can't leave without talking about the census, child. The census is going still. You can still fill out the census. The deadline is October 31st. Do the census, y'all. This is not about, your citizenship. It's not about your record. It's really about a head count, about getting services into your community. Please, please, please fill out the census. Fill out the census. You have until the end of the month to do so. And also, I always forget myself, but please, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you're not watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can do some more fabulous, fun things on YouTube. You can follow me on IG and Twitter at Punanny Politixxx. On YouTube, it's at Blackbush. That's my Blackbush channel where you can see the show. And, I forgot to make a card but next week on the show, I'm really excited to have Vashti Dubois, who is the founder and co-curator of the Color Girls Museum in Philadelphia. I am super excited to have Vashti on the show because this museum has been it's such a beautiful space. And really, I feel like just sprung out of a huge space of love, and on so many levels. I can't wait to share Vashti's story with you. So be here with us next week. I believe we're on next Friday, and next Friday will be in the evening time because we're back, on the East Coast with the folks on the East Coast. And I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. But like I said, I'm gonna, before we leave completely, I'm gonna show you the video of Song for Michelle from the Family Stand. And again, if you're interested in being a part of that video, you can find Sandra on IG and on Facebook, and you can DM her or inbox her and let her know that you're interested in being a part of the video, and you can send your video into her and be a part of history. You know what I'm saying? And also in the descriptions, wherever you're watching, there's information. The website is there for you to check out a contract with Black America. Also information about checking out the African American Policy Forum, which is with Kimberly Crenshaw, who started, she really started Say Her Name, basically really drawing attention to Black women being killed by the police. And also to get involved with, which I've been mentioning for over the past couple months, the 2020 Demo Crew, which is really an activist organization that's really looking to flip these Senate seats. So, that is it. I love y'all so much. I'm like, episode 7. I can't believe we made it here. And I'm gonna again play this video, and then we'll sign off. So I love y'all. Get out there, do your part. I know it sounds like, I know she's saying it a million times, but we can do this. We really, really have the power to do this. We have the power to do this. I keep thinking about how when nobody thought that Obama was going to win in the first election, forget the second one, like the first one. I remember having to talk to people who were on the Hillary Clinton, or just the Clinton, not even Hillary, just on the Clinton bandwagon, you know what I'm saying? And just could not for any reason think that he could win. And I just knew. I was like, no, we're going to do this. And I was on it, from Iowa on down, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about this election right now. I know we can do this. I know we have the power to do this. So let's get out there, talk to your cousins in Kentucky, in Texas, in South Carolina, get them together, and let's bring some sunshine back to this great country that is the United States of America. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Here we go.
I love you,
When we go